Hello dear students. Here in this video, once again, we're gonna go over paragraph writing. You may recall that one of our last conversations was intentionally discussing all the types of paragraphs. However, you will see now a differentiation between one of these types, and I will call this presentation expository paragraphs because here you're going to see, as my students and viewers, you will be able to identify paragraphs, their purpose, their format. You will also be able to spot and use some important clues to write effective paragraphs of this type. Sorry about the typo there. And finally, you will be able to analyze the forms and parts of the definition, classification, and comparison and contrast paragraphs, which were the ones that have been giving you a lot of trouble in the assignments. So first, as a very short introduction of it, we're gonna see what we're gonna see throughout this video. And the very first thing you're gonna see is a brief introduction on paragraph writing and this type, which is called expository, and why I call it that way. Second, you will see a little bit about definition paragraph. Then we're gonna move through classification. Finally, CNC, which is comparison and contrast, and how you will write and identify each part in this type of paragraphs I know you have a lot of problems with. And finally, if there is a question and homework part, I'll give you some feedback and homework so that you can improve your writing in these styles. So let's begin with expository paragraphs. And let's say that a paragraph, I know that you know this concept that I need to remember. A paragraph is a group of words that is related throughout all of it, and the sentences are connected because they develop a main thought or idea about a single topic. The structure of this paragraph is not complex. You know that you must have a topic which is inserted in the topic sentence, and that's why this writer presents three elements that are basic, and he says that the first one is a topic, the second is the topic sentence, and finally the supporting details. We will need to add a fourth element there and call it concluding sentence, because you know that you don't generally just end the paragraph, and you will conclude it. The topic sentence states the main or controlling idea. The sentences that explain these main points are called supporting details, as you already know. So we're going to focus here in this video on these important details that will go through the body so that you can explain and you can clearly define, you can clearly classify, and you can clearly compare and contrast in these type of paragraphs that have given you a lot of trouble. The details that you will find in paragraphs are the facts, reasons, or examples that provide further information about the topic sentence that you have selected. So why do I call this expository? Well, an expository paragraph informs the reader on a subject. What's the purpose then? To inform the person who's reading your paper. It provides information. These type of paragraphs is found in the books that you read for subjects at the university, for example, or the instructions that you read when trying to replace something on your house, when learning how to use or do something. These are very technical and these are very scientific, and maybe that's why these are the styles that are giving you more trouble. There are many different kinds of paragraphs that provide information, but here there are three important ones that I'm going to really take into account, which are definition, classification, and comparison and contrast, as you may see here. The first types, definition and classification, are sort of technical and require previous research and good content management, while the third one is a double challenge, this one, because it is a paragraph that needs to meet two objectives, to compare and to contrast, both at the same time. How are we going to do that? I will guide you through the process. So let's begin with the first one, definition paragraph. A definition paragraph is a paragraph explaining a term or subject, so your audience comprehends the topic of the paragraph. This can be done in three different ways: by writing synonyms, by writing through class, and negation. I know that the word class here may confuse you and may lead you to think that this one is a classification paragraph. However, you will see the difference later. Why a synonym? A synonym is explaining the term by using the words that mean the same thing. Example, to procrastinate is to slack, so you may use either or. Then we have class, which is when you put your topic in a larger category to explain your term. By example, I mean a pineapple is a tropical fruit that has an acidic and sweet taste. What are you gonna do? In classification here, if you define something by class, then you're gonna provide examples and illustration that will develop the word. It means you're gonna develop a definition through common sense, through the things that you can see and the things you can perceive. So it makes it not so scientific, but you can also do it this way. Another way in which you can also write a definition paragraph is through the means that the writer will choose first by saying something is not that, and then he says what it is exactly. A snow cone is not an ice cream cone, but rather a shredded ice and syrup treat. What do you do then when you try to define things? You can write synonyms, you can write clauses, or you can write negations. All this leads to two important terms you need to take into account when we talk about definition. One is connotation, which is the emotional and imaginative association surrounding a word, and the other one is denotation, the strict dictionary meaning of a word. In other words, the first one, connotation, refers to all the common sense words that you may use in order to define something. It may evoke also the senses. And you may wonder, so is the teacher referring to illustration or description? I have told you, different styles of paragraphs will meet different purposes. This one is more strict, I would say more scientific, because when you talk about denotation, you will need the strict dictionary meaning of a word, which means it's a literal meaning. You may choose connotation or denotation to write your paragraphs, and both are okay. You can also combine both. What does this mean? In essence, connotation refers to the personal and cultural meanings in addition to their primary, literal meaning of a word, while denotation refers to the primary, literal meaning of the dictionary meaning of the word. Connotation can be classified as positive connotation and negative connotation, and denotation is not thus classified. Why? Because this one involves judgment. So your opinion about a certain topic may be good or bad, may be in favor or against, while denotation is just the way the dictionary defines it. Connotation can change according to culture and personal experiences, and as a writer, you need to take a stand when you write about certain topics. Denotation remains the same regardless of the culture and personal experiences. Why? Because you're just taking what somebody else said or what the dictionary defines about the topic. The starting point for a definition paragraph is generally a simple definition, which becomes the topic sentence of the paragraph, though it is not a rule. That's why you see the start right here. Topic sentence gives a simple definition, using either connotation or denotation. That's why I'm telling you, it's not a dictionary by the book, which is one of the things that I saw in one of your examples and one of the drafts that you submitted. So you need to combine both, denotation and connotation. Then we go through supporting sentences, which give more information through the use of examples, facts, descriptions, illustrations, or explanations. You need to develop the supporting sentences so well that the topic sentence of your definition paragraph is clearly understood. And finally, the concluding sentence will bring up the main ideas stated in the topic sentence. There's nowhere to stray from the definition because you're defining just one thing, one concept, or one idea. Let me give you one example. Déjà vu, a French word that suggests seen or foreseen events, remains still intriguing. That is my topic sentence. What did I do in the body? It has been described as already seen, or as a feeling or experience that one has seen or done before. For example, one receives a call breaking bad news. Suddenly, one can get an overwhelming feeling of having been there in the exact same spot, talking to the same person, even at the same time. Even though everything seems so familiar, one knows there is no way that could have happened before. Some neurologists provide some theories as to why and how this phenomenon happens. One theory is that déjà vu is connected with temporal lobe epilepsy, but people without a history of epilepsy have also experience deja vu. Psychiatrists believe it is something in the brain that confuses an event that happened in the past with the present. Another theory is parapsychologists, who think it is connected with past life experiences, whether deja vu is only a feeling, an epileptic attack, an experience of the paranormal, or simply some confusion in the brain. It is a perplexing feeling of having already seen. As you may see here, my topic sentence suggests that I will define the word déjà vu, a French word given in the dictionary, that may probably be seen as something that we have already seen or foreseen, something that we have already experienced. In the body, I give 4 important ideas. And here you will see it has been described as already seen, or as a feeling or experience that one has seen or done before. And you will find this one just right here. It has been described as already seen or as a feeling or experience that one has already seen or done before. Here I'm defining the word by using common people's ideas. Then the second one, some neurologists provide some theories as to why and how this phenomenon happens. And I'm talking here about neurology because my second major supporting point is just placed, I'll tell you right now where. Some neurologists provide some theories as to why and how this phenomenon happens. Then I back up this idea as well, and then I provide example about epilepsy. Then I say that psychiatrists believe it is something in the brain that confuses an event that happened in the past with the present. That is the point of view from psychiatrists. And finally, I say that parapsychologists think it is connected with the past life experiences of a person. Then I'm taking the paranormal study of scientists who study this kind of phenomena in order to explain what the word means. So as you have seen, I have used common sense ideas, neurologists, and psychiatrists, and paranormal studies in order to define the word. Finally, I walk you through what I have already explained through the body of my paragraph and what I stated at the beginning in the topic sentence, and then I say, whether deja vu is only a feeling, an epileptic attack, an experience of the paranormal, or simply some confusion in the brain, it is a perplexing feeling of having already seen. I wrote this paragraph, by the way. Then we have classification paragraph. The purpose of a classification paragraph is to clearly define something and place it in a group according to some basis or rule so that it only fits in one group. In order to be successful at this, you need to be very detailed. Remember, you are sorting, dividing, grouping ideas, concepts, and things. The same information can be classified into more than just one category, but the classification paragraph sticks to one basis of classification. The topic sentence has 2 parts, and I want to be emphatic here. The topic and the basis of classification, which is the controlling idea. It controls how the writer approaches the subject. And here I have 3 important things you need to keep in mind. To classify means to gather into types, kinds, or categories according to a single basis of division. Why? Because we're talking about one main idea, remember? Then we have to explain a logical sequence of things. List the categories in the order you have already studied, either from the most to the least outrageous, least to the most expensive, from the largest to the smallest, and so on. Remember the class we had on emphasis through the way in which we use climax, the order of climax, the space order, and the order of time. So this has to do with the order of climax. Then we have transitional expressions like can be divided, can be classified, can be categorized, the first type, the second kind, the last category, or you can use sequence adverbs as the example that I'm going to show you later on. This one is also one of the paragraphs on my very own and original creativity. that I wrote for you, and I want you to read it